Supreme Court taking on an argument that will decide whether pop artist Andy Warhol violated copyright law when he made these images. Specifically, this image of Prince. On the left, a photo taken by Lynn Goldsmith, a famous celebrity photographer, and on the right, a silkscreen print created by Warhol based on the photo. Goldsmith took the image first. 3 years later, Vanity Fair licensed it. The magazine then asked pop artist Andy Warhol to make 16 prints based on that original image. And it published this one in the magazine. But when Prince died in 2016, Vanity Fair republished the image, and the photographer says that's an infringement of her copyright. At first, federal trial judge said the photographer's copyright was not violated because of how Warhol changed the image. The judge claimed the work is immediately recognizable as a Warhol rather than as a photograph of Prince. But a federal appeals court disagreed. It ruled the image's style is irrelevant. Now the Warhol Foundation says that decision threatens a sea change in the law of copyright. Next, the Supreme Court. It's set to hear the case and its new term, which starts in October. The court will have to consider how different a new work of art has to be for it to be considered original. Danny Savalos is with us, attorney and NBC News legal analyst. You know, Warhol's images, like a lot of modern art, center on celebrity imagery. How tough will it be for the Supreme Court to decide where the line is?
It's tough because when it comes to art, everyone is a critic. And the appeals court specifically said, look, courts are not in the business of being art critics. And yet, in a sense, to decide whether or not this is fair use under the copyright law, a court has to be a critic. And as we all know, art is in the eye of the beholder. In a case like this, the test is whether or not the work is transformative. In other words, does it have a new meaning and message than the original photograph? When you look at that photograph, do you see the original photograph or some transformative work that takes it outside the realm of a simple photograph? The Court of Appeals in this case said, you don't address whether or not there's a new meaning or message. As long as it looks like the original photograph, that's pretty much enough. And of course, on appeal, the Warhol Foundation is arguing, no, you need to analyze whether or not it's transformative. In fact, by saying that you don't look at the transformativeness, you are being an art critic yourself, court.
But what implications, Danny, could this decision have on art beyond photos and paintings?
This could have massive implications for all kinds of Warhol-esque art. Anytime you take an original piece and add your own take to it as an artist, I mean, that could translate to music, to all kinds of places. But specifically with art, there are plenty of kinds of art where you take an original photograph and maybe modify it, add to it, and change it and put your own artistic touch onto it. And if this case goes the way of the original plaintiff, then that could be bad news for the art world.